Hi friends, and welcome to this video on subject-verb agreement. Now in my earlier video on subject, verb and object, I have gone through the process of how you can identify the subject, the verb and the object in a sentence. In this video, I'm going to cover subject-verb agreement. Now whenever you have a subject and a verb in a sentence, there are certain rules which apply in the English language, which are necessary because otherwise the statement will be grammatically incorrect. So in this video, I'm going to cover those rules. Now I'm going to make a separate video for each rule because there are about 8 to 9 rules. Otherwise the video will become very long. So let's get started with rule number 1. Rule number 1 is a verb agrees with its subject and number. Right? A verb agrees with its subject and number. Now let us understand that. Singular subjects take singular verbs and plural subjects take plural verbs. So दोस्तों इसका मतलब ये होता है तो अगर सब्जेक्ट जो है वो सिंगुलर है तो उसके साथ सिंगुलर वर्ब लगेगा. सब्जेक्ट जो है अगर प्लूरल है तो उसके साथ प्लूरल वर्ब लगेगा. Now let us understand this with the help of a sentence. The car stays in the garage. Now car is the subject out here which is singular and stays is the verb out here which is also singular. So the car, singular subject, has taken the singular verb. Now immediately you might ask the question that stays जो है वो singular verb कैसे हो गया, इसमें तो s लगा हुआ है. And that is what I'm going to cover in the video going ahead, that the rules of singular and plural are different for subject or nouns and are different for verbs. Now car is a noun which is a subject, and I have covered this in my earlier video of subject, verb and object. Let's look at one more sentence. The flowers smell good. Flowers is the subject, noun, which is in plural, and smell is the verb, which is in plural. Now here again you might ask the question that smell कैसे plural हो गया, यहाँ पे तो s नहीं है. And that is exactly what we'll cover ahead, because as I told you, the concept of singular and plural in noun and verbs is very different. देखिए दोस्तों, आपने सुना होगा that opposites attract, right? And that is what I've said, that rules for singular and plural in nouns and verbs are very different. Now if you take these two words, stays and smells, now immediately whatever knowledge you have about singular and plural, you will say that these are plural verbs, but actually they are not, right? So let's understand the concept of singular and plural in nouns and the concept of singular and plural in verbs. Friends, please have a look at this chart, and this is a very important part of this video. That let's understand nouns first. Nouns में singular क्या होता है? So let's take the example of cup. Singular cup becomes cups, s लग जाता है. Singular book becomes plural books, यहाँ पे s लग गया. One computer becomes many computers. One crow becomes many crows. So I'm sure this is something you're all familiar with, that the moment you put an s in the noun, it turns into a plural. However, the logic is completely opposite in the case of verbs. In the case of verb, the words with the s become the singular. So if you take the verb walk, now walk is actually plural and walks become singular. Take the verb play. Play is plural and plays with the s becomes singular. Jump is plural and with the s jumps become singular. So you see the singular and plural definition in nouns and the singular and plural definition in verbs is exactly the opposite. And please stop the video and understand this very clearly, because this is one of the most important rules of subject-verb agreement, that a singular subject takes on a singular verb. However, the definition of singular and plural subject and the definition of singular and plural verb is exactly the opposite. So please stop the slide if you want to understand this and have a good look at this and these examples. Okay, let's move ahead. Now there is a rule 2 which I would like to cover along with rule 1, that the number of the subject, singular or plural, is not changed by words that come between the subject and the verb. Now let's understand this. One of the eggs is broken, right? One is the subject. Now ये singular है कि plural है? Singular है. Is a verb. Is it singular or plural? It is singular. So singular subject has taken a singular verb, and of the eggs are the words in between the subject and the verb. Two of the eggs are broken. Now the subject here is two. Is it singular or plural? It is plural. The verbs is are. Is it singular or plural? It is plural. And of the eggs are the words between the subject and the verb. Whatever words come between the subject and the verb, you need to ignore them and apply the rule as I have already told you. Right? So as I told you again, of the eggs are the words that appear between the subject and the verb. right? In the first sentence, the subject one and the verb are both singular. I already told you. And in the second sentence, the subject two and the verb are plural. I've already told you that. So whenever you have some words coming between the subject and the verb, just mentally omit it, right? The rule of singular subjects taking on singular verb will still apply. So it does not make a difference अगर singular और subject और verb के बीच में कुछ words आ रहे हैं तो. So that is rule number 2. So friends, now that you know rule number 1 and rule number 2, let us solve some examples. So here are some examples in which your knowledge of rule 1 and rule 2 will be tested. Right? What I will do, friends, is I will solve 1, 2 and 3 for you. And after that, you please solve from number 4 to 10. And when you come on the live class with me, we will compare the answers. Your friend dash too much. Now what is friend? Is it singular or plural? It is singular. Will it take on a singular verb? Yes, it will. Now which is the singular verb in this? Talks. So your friend talks too much. Number 2. The man with the roses dash like your brother. Man, singular. It will take on a singular verb. Looks. The man with the roses looks like your brother. Number 3. The women in the pool dash well. Women is singular or plural? Women is plural. It has to take on a plural verb. Right? And which is the plural verb in this? Swim. Yes, without the S. The women in the pool swim well. So friends, with that, what I would like you to do is please stop the video out here. Solve from exercise number 4 to number 10. And then, so that your concept of rule number 1 and 2 is clear. And whenever we meet in the live class, we'll compare the answers from number 4 to number 10. But perhaps this is one of the most important rules. Alright, so I hope the rule number 1 and rule number 2 is clear. I will see you in the next video where I will cover the other rules. Thank you.